The scariest part about your habits is that they don't feel important while they are changing you. Somewhere in the future, there is a version of you who already knows what today became. They know what happened every time you said, "I'll do it tomorrow." They know what happened every time you reached for your phone instead of facing silence. They know what happened every time discomfort appeared and you quietly disappeared. Not because one choice destroyed your life, but because repeated choices trained you into someone. That is the part nobody notices. You don't become undisciplined in one dramatic moment. You don't lose confidence all at once. You don't betray your future in one huge decision. It happens quietly, in normal rooms, on ordinary mornings, in the small private moments where nobody is watching, nobody is judging, and nobody is clapping. Most people think their life will change because of one big decision, one burst of motivation, one perfect plan, one moment where everything suddenly clicks. But life almost never changes like that. Your future is not built in dramatic scenes, it is built in repetition. And the most dangerous repetitions are the ones that feel harmless. The phone in the morning, the task delayed one more time, the difficult conversation avoided, the 5-minute escape that becomes an hour, the sentence, "I'll start later," said with just enough belief to feel innocent. But your brain is always recording. Not your intentions, not your dreams, not the version of you that exists in your imagination. Your brain records what you repeat. If you postpone something difficult, your brain learns that escape brings relief. If you grab your phone the second boredom appears, your brain learns that silence is a threat. If you avoid discomfort every time it knocks, your brain learns that discomfort is danger. And if you do this long enough, avoidance stops feeling like a habit. It starts feeling like who you are. That is why procrastination is not just a time problem. It is an identity problem. Every time you delay the thing you know matters, your brain receives a message. When pressure arrives, we leave. And the worst part is that the message feels good in the moment. You feel lighter, the anxiety drops, the discomfort disappears, but it is not freedom, it is debt. Your future self pays for the relief your present self keeps buying. And this is where confidence quietly breaks. Not because you failed once, not because you are weak, but because you have made too many private agreements with yourself and broken them in silence. You said, "Today." You didn't. You said, "This time I'm serious." You disappeared. You said, "Tomorrow I'll change." Tomorrow became the same day with a different name. And after enough of those moments, something inside you stops believing your own voice. That is why motivation starts to feel necessary, because your word no longer feels reliable. But here is the part that can change everything. Confidence is not a feeling you wait for. Confidence is evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself when your mood changes. Evidence that you can move before comfort wins. Evidence that discomfort does not control you. You do not need a new personality. You need new evidence. One small action that proves a different story. Open the document for 5 minutes. Answer the message you keep avoiding. Sit in silence without reaching for the phone. Start before your brain has time to negotiate. Do the small, uncomfortable thing while it still feels uncomfortable. Because the point is not the size of the action. The point is what the action teaches your brain. Every action is a vote, but more than that, every action is a receipt. When you choose distraction, you collect evidence for one identity. When you choose avoidance, you collect evidence for one identity. When you keep one small standard in private, you collect evidence for another. And eventually, your brain stops asking, "Do I feel motivated?" It starts asking, "What do we usually do?" That is the hidden power of habits. They make your future feel normal before it arrives. A person who avoids difficult things long enough does not wake up shocked that life feels smaller. It slowly becomes familiar. A person who breaks promises to themselves long enough does not wake up shocked that confidence is gone. And this is the twist. The most dangerous habits are not the ones that destroy your life immediately. They are the ones that make you slowly accept a smaller version of yourself. They lower your standards quietly. They make delay feel normal. They make distraction feel deserved. They make discomfort feel like a sign to stop. And after a while, you do not say, I gave up. You say, this is just who I am, but maybe it is not who you are. Maybe it is just what you have practiced. Modern life makes this easier. The phone is always close. The escape is always available. Before your own thoughts can speak, someone else's life is already on your screen. Someone ahead, someone richer, someone apparently more disciplined. And if you repeat that every morning, your brain starts measuring your life before you have even lived your day. But the real danger is not the screen. The real danger is that your attention becomes easier to steal than to direct. You start reacting before choosing, consuming before creating, comparing before acting. And slowly, your life becomes something you watch instead of something you build. So the solution is not to become perfect. Perfection is just another way to delay. The solution is to become harder to abandon. Choose one piece of evidence today. One small action that your future self would recognize. Something boring, something private, something too small for your ego to brag about. Then do it before your brain turns it into a debate. Because your brain will negotiate. It will say, later. It will say, you're tired. It will say, this won't matter. It will say, start when you feel ready. But readiness is often just comfort wearing a better mask. You do not need to feel ready to collect evidence. You only need to act before the old pattern speaks too loudly. And when you do, something changes. Not everything, not instantly, but something. You teach your brain a new rule. Discomfort is not danger. Effort is not punishment. Boredom is not an emergency. Your mood is not your master. And your future self is not some stranger who will magically fix what you keep avoiding. Your future self is built by what you protect today. So protect them in small ways. Protect them from the task you keep delaying. Protect them from the easy escape. Protect them from the version of you that wants relief now and leaves consequences for later. One day, that future version of you will look back, not at the dramatic days, not at the days when everyone saw you trying. They will look back at the quiet moments, the ordinary mornings, the silent choices, the times you almost escaped but stayed, the times you did not feel motivated but moved anyway. And they will not ask if you were perfect. They will not ask if every day was easy. They will ask one thing. Did you protect the person you were becoming? Because your future is not built by what you do once. It is built by the evidence you leave behind when nobody notices.